Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing another tier list, except this time we're going to be doing a Dragon Ball Z mainline fighting game tier list. So essentially it's the main games that we're doing. There's no spin-offs, there's nothing like that, it's just the main set of fighting games they released throughout the years. So there's not going to be that many on it. I couldn't find the one that had all of them on it, like I've seen it before. I couldn't find it, so we're going to just do this one instead, which is the main games that we probably all remember playing at least one time or another, and we're going to be ranking them. But as always, if you can continue showing the support on the channel by dropping a like on the video, and if you are new, hitting that red subscribe button. Of course, all your support is very much appreciated. But before we do start, we're going to go through the tiers. We've got Super Saiyan God, which is of course the best, some of my favorites. We've got UF, which means this game isn't quite my favorite, but it's good. It's a good game. We got it's alright, which is a common thing for me. It's, you know, it's alright, it's not good, it's not bad, it's alright, it is what it is. We got Meh, which is pretty self-explanatory. We've got Get in the Bin, which means it's terrible, it's trash. Get it in the bin, get it out of my face, get rid of it. Kicking off this tier list, we've got Budokai 2. I think this one has to go in Meh. Has to go in Meh. Of course, the second game in the Budokai series, it was a solid enough game. But one thing I remember being quite annoying, like looking back on this game after playing all three Budokais, was the fact that it felt so heavy and so clunky. I don't know why. It just was. That's how I remember it being. It was just clunky. It really was, and I'm not sure why. Especially because Budokai, the first one didn't feel like that, and then the third one definitely didn't feel like that. But for some reason in between, it just got really heavy. There was a character selection, you know, it had all the way up to the Buu Saga, which is pretty decent. Introduced the fact that you could you know, fuse mid-battle, which is kind of cool. You even had you know, Tien and Yamcha fusion in there, which is quite cool. And the story mode was there, and it kind of had an interesting twist. You essentially was on like a Monopoly board. It was kind of weird, but it was kind of different, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I just remember it feeling so clunky, and I don't know, I don't get how you go from smooth gameplay in Budokai and then clunky in the second one. Like, you're meant to improve on the second one. It just doesn't make sense to me. Next we have Xenoverse, which, I mean, to be fair, Xenoverse 2 is next to it, so I'm essentially going to rank both these at the same time. Xenoverse 1 in its Xenoverse 2 is in UFOS, and I'll essentially explain Xenoverse 2 as to why Xenoverse is in this. Alright, Xenoverse 2 goes in UF for the sole fact that it literally took Xenoverse and it made everything better. I mean, that's as simple as that. Parallel Quest obviously was still there was loads more, you know. In general, in terms of like the normal combat, the normal fighting, it's smoothed over, a lot cleaner, you know, and there was just a lot more to the game. It's just, as I said, essentially that was everything that was good in Xenoverse. They improved upon it in the second game, and in general, just Xenoverse's premise was pretty cool. You know, you had the creator character stuff return, which was obviously sick. Everyone wants to do that. This, you know, Xenoverse was cool because you got to choose between different races. You know, there was transformations for each different race. You know, Xenoverse 2 also had a bunch of content, and also a bunch of DLC content as well. Not to mention, in general, just Xenoverse was a good game to start with, and then as I said, Xenoverse 2 just improved on everything, hence why we've gone SRI and Xenoverse 2 has gone in UF. Now we have the OG, we've got Dragon Ball Z Budokai. It has to man, it has to go in UF. For the first, I think, PlayStation 2 Dragon Ball Z game they ever made, at least in, you know, in like, you know, outside of Japan, this game was amazing. The combat was good. You know, I played this game while, I think, you know, after I'd already played Budokai 3 and Budokai Tenkaichi 2. It was a bit weird adjusting going back, but you know what? The game holds up quite well. It doesn't, you know, age that badly. It actually, as I said, it holds up quite well. It's still fun. Goes all the way up to the Cell Saga at the time, which is pretty decent. As I said, for the time, fantastic game. And I said, even then, going back to it years later, it still holds up quite well. You know, you had your important characters like obviously Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, Frieza, Cell, you know, all of them ones. And it just, the fighting was clean. The fighting was clean. It had a decent story mode as well, in terms of, you know, that it had a little mini game when you had to hit Raditz in the chest with a special beam cannon, which, by the way, as a kid causes absolute stress to keep him like dead center. But it was a good game, and I said, and it aged quite nicely. It aged like fine wine, to be fair. The next one we've got is Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. For a sequel, again, it's got to go in Meh. Excuse me, I don't know what's happened there. The only sequel so far that impressed me was Xenoverse 2. In terms of sequels, they're not holding up well. Budokai 2's in Meh, Raging Blast 2's in Meh. The main thing that, do you know what, the reason why I put it in Meh is literally the story mode. In terms of characters, it was good. It included the likes of Future Gohan, Cooler, Bojack. It had a lot of movie characters in there, which is quite nice. Movie villains. It had its, you know, it had a. You got to watch the special Eradicate the Saiyans film, which is kind of cool. And Hatchiat got put in the game, which is quite a cool thing. But the lack of a story mode hurt this game. Like, it hurt this game. The combat was nice. It was easy to pick up. Just a nice, fun arena fighter to play. Good graphics. It just, the gameplay just wasn't good. Not the gameplay, sorry, the story mode. It just didn't exist. You got to play, like, you essentially played, like, it was if you went into like an exhibition match, or like if you played your friend and you played like the big important battles. So essentially you played your friend, you picked Goku and he picked Frieza. It was literally just like playing like that. There was no cutscenes, no actual story mode, and then there was some like trial versions where like you're losing health and you have to fight like 4 enemies at once, or not at once, but 4 enemies after each other. Yeah, the lack of story mode really hurt this game, and there just wasn't really a lot to do, if I remember. Next up is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Oh, the first game goes and get in the bin. And you know what? Funny story about this game. I didn't even own this game. I didn't even play it when it was released. I played the demo, and I hated it so much that I never ever played it again. I never played the full game once. I don't even know anyone who even owned this game. Like, it was bad. The whole idea of you fighting with like multiple different Vegetas or Gokus on one team was kind of cool. Gameplay was bad. I'm pretty sure there was only one combo. Seeing God in a game was quite cool, with like, obviously the Battle of Gods saga like just happening like or recently. But yeah, the combat was literally just, it was one combo. It was bad. Like, it was boring. It was repetitive. It was bad. I literally played 10-15 minutes of a demo, hated it. Never ever played it again. Never played the full game ever. Like, that's how bad it was. I gave it no benefit of the doubt and was like, this is trash. I'm never touching you ever again. Get away from me. COVID might as well have been around like when this game came out, like 2011, all them years ago. Because that's how bad it was. Like, it needs to social distance away from me. Yeah, what a terrible game. Like, terrible game. Next up, we've got Budokai Tenkaichi 2, which I love this game. I love this game. Like, this is such a good game. And do you know what? It has to go up here for me. I was going to put it here, but it has to go up here for me. Do you know why? Because when Budokai Tenkaichi 2 came out, sorry, it followed the story mode. You know, you had your little cutscenes where the characters are talking to each other. You had like the mini bits where you had like kind of images on the screen. You played through like the majority of every kind of key fight in story mode. You know, you even had some movie stuff. And it was just, again, it was a clean arena fighter back on the time, like playing on PS2 and that. And it was just so fun and easy to pick up. And there were so many characters. You know, you had Goku in the middle of the series. You had Vegetas, you had Freezers, you had Gohan, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you had Shenron, Shin Shenron, or Shin Shenron, whichever. Oob, Marju, Pan. Oh, the character roster was endless. It even gave love to some characters you don't care about, like Nappa and Raditz. It gave them the Great Ape transformation, which was kind of cool for the time. You didn't really see it often. It was just a good game. It was a typical Dragon Ball Z game that followed the story, including some of the movies, and a plethora of characters for you to just continuously play. It was just a good arena fighter Dragon Ball Z game, and that's just enough said. The reason why this has to go in Super Saiyan God for me, the reason it has to go at the top, I spent so many hours playing this game. Even why Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was a thing, I was still playing this game. I was still playing it because I didn't get it straight away, so I was still playing this, and I spent so many hours on this and loved it so much. It has to go here for me. It just has to. Now moving on to Ultimate Tenkaichi, which it's going on the other end of the spectrum. It's going down here. I'm gonna let it go above Battle of God because I actually put more time into this game. Not because I enjoyed the gameplay, but because it was the first time we got to see character creation, which actually was a dope thing. It's something we waited for years, make our own character, which we finally got to do. You had your normal Dragon Ball Z story mode, which was cool, and then you had your create a character, like that story mode side of things. I don't remember the mode's name, but you would go for a whole different story with your created character, which was dope. And to me, when I first saw it, I was like, this looks like Budokai Tenkaichi, but HD and on Xbox 360 and PlayStation. I was like, oh my god, are they bringing it back? There's creator character stuff? Dope, I'm getting it. So I went and bought it, and I got home, I started playing it, was like, okay, cool. I'm going straight in the create a character thing. Boom, boom. Oh, you can get masters and train under them and learn their moves. I can't wait to train under Vegeta and get like Gallic Gun and stuff. This is so cool. And then you start playing the game and reality just hits you. Do you realize this game is a pile of... This game was terrible. Like, it was trash, man. It was horrible. The gameplay literally boiled down to rock, paper, scissors. That's what the gameplay was. Rock, paper, scissors. That is literally what the gameplay was. Like, not even just Dragon Ball Z games. How do you take a fighting game and just make it into rock, paper, scissors and you just watch it? Like, the only saving grace of this game was the create a character stuff. That was it. Because it was the first time we ever saw it. And in its own story mode as well. That's the only saving. That's why I played this game, was literally just to finish that. And you can go Super Saiyan and everything. It was cool. Some decent boss fights. You know, they weren't amazing, but they were decent. And it just ended up being rock paper scissors. Like, it was such a bad game. I don't get. I just don't get what happened. I just don't get what happened. Moving on to a much better game, we have Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, which, I feel like putting in Isai is really disrespectful. But the game was short. But I feel not putting this in Isai is so disrespectful in my opinion. I have to put it in it was a good game, but it's gonna be at the end. It's got to be at the end. Such a good game. Again, it reminded me of Budokai going to the like a HD version, not the remastered ones, a HD version on 360 and PlayStation. It was good. It was a fun game. It was so good to play. You had like these, it was almost like assists or like kind of like things that could happen through the fight, where there was like mini cutscenes or someone would jump in for you with like a key blast. You know, it was good. It was a fun game. You know, it was very fun to play with friends, and that's mainly why I played it, because I didn't have this game. I played it a lot at my mate's house, and it was just a lot of fun just spending hours on this game. The one thing that lets this down is the fact that the story mode was cut short. And I think the whole story was that they run out of time, and so they just scrapped the Buu saga. It only went up to the Cell saga. And it was a really good, it was a good game, but it was cut short. It was just cut short. And I think if the story mode wasn't cut short and it wasn't rushed, I feel like Burst Limit would be up here. But because they had to cut it short, it's down here. Like, they even had Broly in this game as well. It was just a fun game. It was literally like Budokai had moved at the time to the next gen consoles. But it was just, yeah, just the story mode getting cut short just really let it down, like, massively. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Oh god. I feel like putting it here is disrespectful, putting it up here is too much. We put it in here, but we're going to put it up the top over Xenoverse. We hadn't had a Dragon Ball Z game which followed the usual story for years. The thing that made this different was it followed the anime down to a T, which, to be fair, it did. It cut out some big moments like the Vegeta Final Flash, like the Super Trunk stuff. You know, a few moments here and there that people are a bit like, what? You took that out? Especially me with the Final Flash. I was like, you really did my boy like that? Like, really? And not to mention, the game looked great. The game looked amazing. The cutscenes were probably the best Dragon Ball Z game cutscenes currently you're ever going to see. It was a good, like, that part of the game, great. We knew what we were getting in terms of a JRPG, but actually playing the game through the entirety of the story, which isn't that, like, it's not short. It just got incredibly repetitive. Like, the boss fights were okay, but then again, there was nothing, like, in it, like, you know, innovative. It was quite, you know, quite timid, quite tame, shall I say. And yeah, it was just like the game looked good and it was fun going through the anime stuff. But just like the JRPG stuff kind of made it boring. Like the upgrades were okay, but it just, yeah, the combat got repetitive really quickly. And I mainly finished this game essentially just to get through it. Not to mention that Vegito cutscene with Buuhan. Oh my god, it was amazing. But like, yeah, the combat of this game, like the gameplay of this game, apart from the flying around was cool. Flying around the world of Dragon Ball was fun, or Dragon Ball Z was fun. But yeah, the actual like combat, it just, I know what we were getting. I just didn't think it would get repetitive as quickly as it did. Which was, I guess a huge shame. I actually played this through all on my main channel. But that's an idea for me to ponder, like, to throw out there. would you like me to play, or in my case, replay Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on this channel? If so, let me know down in the comments and I'll end up doing that for you. Why not? Why not? We can play some Dragon Ball Z games if I have them. But yeah, if you want me to replay Kakarot on this channel, let me know down in the comments and I'll do that. Next, we got Dragon Ball FighterZ, and while your boy doesn't play this anymore, like he didn't play it a lot to begin with, this has to go up here. It's not going to go above Budokai Tenkaichi 2, but it has to go up here. It's one of the best Dragon Ball Z fighting games probably to ever be released. And graphically, amazing. The animations on that game look crisp and they just look gorgeous. The dramatic finishes look sensational. The gameplay is fun, especially if you're into it. Whether you're a casual fighting game player, whether you're a hardcore fighting game player, everyone can pick this up. It's a good game. Like, it is a really good game. It's a game that's not for me, and unfortunately I'm too lazy and can't be bothered to put the time in to learn this game. So that's why I don't play it anymore, but I will give it the respect it deserves. Not to mention a lot of great characters they've chosen for DLC, like Vegito Blue, Gogeta, Broly Gogeta, and also the SJ4 Gogeta. You know, every character in this game feels so unique, which is it's an amazing thing to do. There's a lot of attention to detail on each character in this game, but as I said, unfortunately the game isn't for me, but I will give it the respect it deserves. Moving on, we got Raging Blast, which I think goes in I. I think if Raging Blast 2 goes in meh, then Raging Blast goes in or it's I. Again, it was a typical Dragon Ball game that followed the usual story, which is quite nice. It, you know, it had actually followed like actual cutscenes, followed the story. You know, it was a decent game for what it was meant for. Combat was pretty decent. As I said, in terms of Raging Blast 2, it was a fun, easy to pick up arena fighter, quite fast paced, and as I said, it was just really fun, which is kind of a main thing. Also, these little what if like sagas where you could play through. What if Vegeta got Super Saiyan 3? What if Broly got Super Saiyan 3? What if Bardock met Goku and they had a fight and his grandchildren? Those things were kind of cool. And yeah, seeing SSJ3 Vegeta and SSJ3 Broly was such a dope thing. Like, it was just so cool because we had never seen it before. And yeah, it was essentially, that's why it goes in SI. It was just a solid Dragon Ball Z game. It's nothing special. It wasn't bad. It actually had a story mode on like Raging Blast 2, which let that down. But ultimately, it's just a solid game. Simple as that. It was a solid game. Now we go from solid games to one of the GOATs, Budokai 3. What a game. What a game. I remember playing this game so much, especially in the Budokai HD Remastered collection. Whatever it was called, like the Budokai Remastered collection for PS3 and Xbox 360. I put so much time into that. It brought back so many memories. Good character roster. Very good character roster at the time. Yes, it weren't as packed out as the Budokai Tenkaichi games, but you know, you had your SSJ4s, you had you had Cooler, you had Broly, you know, you had your fun, exciting 2.5D combat. You had the I think adrenaline mode where they would like glow like green, not green, like reddy orange, like fire. You had like loads of transformations in the game. It was a good game. You also had the, was it Dragon World, Dragon Adventure? I can't remember what it was called. Where it had the normal story mode, but you flew over the world of Dragon Ball, which was kind of cool. And then like, I remember like Googling on the HD Remastered collection, Googling, how do you get Cooler? How do you get this character? How do you get that character? Oh, you have to beat this portion of the game and then fly over to this area where Goku probably fought them in the movies or whatever. Go fight them in that area, and then you would get them. I remember constantly going back through the game with characters to get all the Dragon Balls to get the breakthrough skill, because oh my god, getting the breakthrough skill, especially on someone like Goku, you get to use all of his moves on one character and all of his transformations without limiting yourself. You put on breakthrough, you've got Super Saiyan, you've got Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, and you would literally transform from each of them to the next one, which is kind of a small cool thing. You would even put on the skill where if you've done a certain move, you would transform into Gogeta. It was just dope. It was dope. Like, it was such a good game. It was so fun. It's such a goated game. And I don't know, I think this is just me, maybe. There's something about the Budokai 3 graphics which is so nostalgic and goated to me. Like, whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, memories. Oh, warm feeling in my tummy. Like, I don't know why, they look good to me, and they just bring back so many memories. They're so nostalgic. Final 2. Technically for me, Final 1, because I didn't ever play Budokai Tenkaichi. I never played the original. I know it's probably not too dissimilar from 2 and 3, But I'll be fair, I never played it, so I'm not going to rank it. We've got Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which it's one of the most goated games. It's one of the most goated games. For me, I'm going to put it behind Budokai Tenkaichi 2 for one reason. I'm going to put it behind Budokai 3 as well for one reason. One reason only, and I mentioned this earlier in the video. I didn't have this game until later on, and I put so much time into Budokai Tenkaichi 2, nowhere near as much time in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And also, why Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is goated, it's essentially Budokai Tenkaichi 2 with like double the characters, which is insane because there was loads of characters in Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 still has some of the most, I think, the most characters in a Dragon Ball Z game I think ever made, which is insane. Yes, some of them felt quite similar, but I mean at the time it was just dope. But as I said, it was quite similar to Budokai Tenkaichi 2, just more characters. And also, as I said, I spent more time on Budokai Tenkaichi 2. I think it's only fair that I put it here. Budokai 3, as I said, it's just goated. As simple as that, it's goated. But yeah, you could literally play as everyone. You could play as like a Pule. You know, you could also play as oh, what's his name? The brain dude and like the little like transformer. You could play as them, or him, or that. You could play as like just the most basic characters you'd probably never pick apart from just if you were having a laugh. Like, it was so goated. Like, this game split up each version of a character between each saga and what transformations they could do. Again, you had your kind of, do you want to start as a base Goku? Do you want to start as a Super Saiyan Goku? Do you want to start as Super Saiyan 3 Goku? You go pick Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Vegeta. You could use them, or you could start as one of the fusions. And I said, it just had so many characters, like so many. But yeah, what a game. So that's my tier list of the main Dragon Ball Z games. Let me know down in the comments what you think of it and what is your favorite Dragon Ball Z game on this list. Which one is your favorite out of all the Dragon Ball Z games on this tier list? Let me know down in the comments, but I'll see you in the next video, guys. So let me try that again. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.